So here's the question. What if the weirdest method is one that finally works for you? Welcome back to the podcast, family. And on today's episode, we are going to look at some of the weirdest but most effective meditation techniques practiced around the world. These aren't your typical close your eyes and breathe routines, but they're powerful, body based, and sometimes downright fun. And if the traditional way to meditate isn't working for you, you're going to want to stick around for this. And let's just start with number one, laughter meditation. Now, this originated in India and it was popularized by Dr. Madan Kartaria, if I said that right, founder of laughter yoga. Yes, laughter yoga. So here's how you would practice this. You would begin by sitting or standing in a comfortable space. You're going to start with some intentional fake laughter. Okay, ha ha ha, he he sounds. And just doing that made me laugh. Okay, so you can see it. So you're going to force the muscles involved in real laughter. Okay, that was a weird space, but gradually the laughter often becomes genuine. And between bursts of laughter, you're going to take a deep breath and then you're going to exhale really slowly to ground yourself. Now, this practice can last 5 to 15 minutes and it often ends in a really quiet, reflective rest. Now, why does it work? Well, let me give you a little bit of science on this because laughter releases endorphins and dopamine, and it reduces stress hormones like cortisol, and it's going to reset your nervous system. It's also a form of emotional release, especially helpful for people who carry a lot of tension in their body. So then it would be best for people who feel emotionally blocked or overwhelmed by serious meditation. And honestly, I love this one. And we've talked a lot in previous episodes about how powerful mindfulness and meditation can be for stress relief, anxiety reduction, and overall mental clarity. So this just fits the bill. So laughing is so good for your soul. And it looks like traditional meditation isn't then a one size fits all solutions. For some people, sitting still in silence just doesn't work, and that's okay. So let's take a look at the second non traditional meditation technique, and that's walking meditation or kinhin, if I said that correctly. Now, this originated in Zen Buddhist tradition. Yep, walking. So, how do you practice this? You find a quiet space, indoors or out, where you can walk slowly and undisturbed. So you're going to stand tall, you're going to relax your shoulders, and you're just going to begin walking very slowly, paying attention to each step. So it's very intentional. And then you're going to breathe in as you lift your foot and breathe out as you place it back down on the floor, ground, wherever you're at. You're going to let your hands rest gently, often one hand over the other or at the belly or sides. And when your mind begins to wander, return to the feeling of your feet touching the ground. Let me tell you why it works. This form of meditation anchors awareness in the body, and it's ideal for people who feel too restless to sit, and it helps calm them through rhythmic, embodied movement. And this would probably be best for high energy or anxious minds that struggle with the stillness that traditional meditation brings. This one is definitely an unconventional meditation technique, and it might seem weird at first. It did to me, but it could be the missing piece in your wellness practice. When we hear meditation, we picture someone sitting perfectly still in Zen mode, eyes closed, maybe with spa music in the background, that image. It stops a lot of people from ever even trying it because of that. Because let's be honest, some of us do not like sitting still or find it very difficult. We can find our minds racing the second we close our eyes. And if you've tried regular meditation and felt like a failure because your brain wouldn't quiet down, you should know you're not alone. You are not alone. There is a massive misconception that meditation only works if you're silent, still, and spiritually enlightened. But in truth, meditation is just a way of becoming present. And present can come through laughter, walking, singing, or even staring at a candle, which leads us right into the third unconventional technique, which is sound bath meditation. Now, it originated in Tibetan and Himalayan healing traditions, but it's now been integrated into Western wellness. And how you would practice this is you would lie on your back in a quiet, dim space and you'd have your eyes closed. A You could have someone playing instruments like singing bowls, gongs, tuning forks, or crystal chimes, or you could have it playing in the background. You choose. You're going to let the sound wash over you. You're not going to focus just on hearing, but feeling the vibration in your body. Sessions, you typically want to do this about 20 to 60 minutes and can be done. Like I said, you can have someone playing this in person, someone who does this for, their profession, or you can do it through recordings. Now, why does this work? Well, the vibrations are entraining your brain waves to slower frequencies like theta, delta, which are associated with meditation, healing, and sleep. The sound also reduces mental chatter in your mind and induces a deep relaxation response. And this would be best for people with sensory sensitivity, maybe PTSD, or anyone craving deep emotional calm. Now, this next one may sound more traditional to some, and it's called it's a candle gazing meditation or traka. How to practice. So you would place a candle at eye level about 2 feet away. You would sit comfortably with your spine straight and gaze softly at the flame of the candle and try not to blink. So it's kind of without blinking, which obviously is going to take practice. Hold your gaze until your eyes water, then close them and visualize the flame in your mind's eyes. And you're going to repeat this for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, why does this work? Well, you're improving focus, eye strength, and mental stillness by staring at that candle without trying to blink. The intense visual focus occupies the mind and gently clears subconscious clutter. Now, this would be best for people struggling with racing thoughts or who want to sharpen mental clarity. And as you can see, we're breaking the mold and we're looking at meditation methods that may be weird by Western standards, but powerful all the same. And this next one really fascinates me, and perhaps it might just be the key for some of you. And it's called Gibberish Meditation. Let me say that again, just because I like it. Gibberish Meditation. Okay, it's a real thing. It originated from Osha's dynamic meditation in India. Okay. You just need to know that's where it originated. Here's how you practice it. Find a private space where you feel safe being loud or silly. Set a timer for 10 minutes and begin speaking total nonsense. No real words, just sounds. Let your voice rise, fall, shout, whisper, whatever emerges from you naturally. Afterward, sit or lie in silence, observing your body and thoughts. Now, you're probably thinking, what? No, there's no way this works. Well, let me tell you why this works from a science perspective. Gibberish bypasses the left brain language logic and releases pent up emotional energy. It's deeply cathartic, freeing, and oddly euphoric. And this may be best for overthinkers, creatives, or people needing an emotional brain dump. Now, let's zoom in on what you might be thinking. Can it get any weirder? Apparently, maybe. Let's zoom in on what might be the weirdest and most physical technique on today's list, and that's called shaking meditation, neurogenic tremoring, or TRE, or TRE as they call it. Yes, this has an origin. It was developed by Dr. David Bersili through trauma recovery work in war zones and disaster areas. It is inspired by natural tremor responses in animals and children. And if you've ever had one of those, either through anxiety, maybe public speaking, I can remember this through public speaking. I literally, when I first started public speaking, which became just nonstop, once I did it for so long in my career, I no longer had the response. But the first few or more times were awful. My whole body would shake and I could not stop it no matter what I did. So I find this fascinating. Here's how you would practice it. You would begin with grounding movement. So you do a few simple stretches or yoga poses to wake up the legs, especially your hip flexors, which tend to store tension. And then you would lie down on your back with knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and start subtly. Start by shaking, subtle shakes by lifting your hips slightly or bringing your knees towards each other. So kind of like a hip bridge slightly, or bring your knees towards each other. Eventually your body will start to tremble involuntarily. And then you just want to let go of control. Don't make the shaking happen. Just allow your body to release whatever tension you have and stay in this tremor if you can naturally for however long it lasts, 5, 15 minutes. When it stops, rest in stillness and notice how you feel. Now, some of you are probably thinking, what in the world? What's happening? Well, let me explain why this may be working. When animals escape danger, they shake to discharge trauma from their nervous systems. Humans suppress this. So this is tapping into the autonomic nervous system to release deeply held physical stress, especially from trauma or long-term anxiety. Shaking resets the vagus nerve and brings the body back into parasympathetic dominance, that rest and digest mode. And so a lot of people that have used this has reported that they have felt relief from chronic anxiety, reduced muscle tension and pain, emotional breakthroughs, deep sleep after practice. And I think this may be best for people who've tried everything. So trauma survivors or anyone who feels like their stress is trapped in their body. And I have to tell you that this technique is powerful. So you're going to want to start slowly. If you've ever experienced trauma, it's more than a good idea to work with someone trained in this, a therapist, and always remember that this information is for educational and sometimes entertainment purposes only. Please seek professional care and follow the advice of your physician. So now that we've explored several weird meditation methods, let's just unpack why these work so well, often better than traditional meditation for certain people. Let me tell you that they are interrupting your default mode brain activity. That is a collection of brain regions that are active when the mind is at rest, thinking about the past, worrying about the future, or just simply replaying conversations that you had throughout the day. It's overactive, though, in people with anxiety, depression, and trauma. So these weird meditation techniques like gibberish, shaking, laughter, they're acting as a cognitive pattern interrupter. So they are creating novelty, something new. And when the brain encounters something unfamiliar, like speaking nonsense, for example, it switches from autopilot to alert presence. And then it's shutting down the inner critic. So the default mode network, or the DMN, is linked with self-referential thought. So why did I say that? Or I'm not good enough. Interrupting this activity reduces rumination, which is a key factor in depression and anxiety. And also, these weird meditations are activating task positive networks. Those are opposite of the DMN, but they light up when we're engaged in present moment focus, creativity activities, or sensory experiences. And the result, your brain exits the loop of overthinking and re-enters reality. And also, they meet people where they are. Most traditional meditation techniques assume a calm baseline, but many people start from fight or flight. So, if your heart is racing, your mind is looping, or you've had trauma, sitting in silence is going to feel like punishment. So, these meditations that I've introduced today are acknowledging this and working with the nervous system, not against it. Because laughter meditation is help releasing sadness without the need to analyze it. So, the body does the healing before the mind catches up. Walking meditation lets you ground in movement. Repetitive physical activity is calming your amygdala and can reduce panic. The candle gazing is a great fit for people who are overstimulated by sound or can't close their eyes due to past trauma. The shaking discharges the freeze response, one of the hardest trauma states to escape. This is trauma informed meditation, meeting the body where it is without shame. You don't have to be calm to begin, you just need a doorway that fits your nervous system. And they're completing the stress cycle. So there was a book, Burnout, and the authors Emily and Amelia Nagoski, if I said that correctly, in their book Burnout, described how stress is just not mental, it's a biological loop that must be completed. So when we get startled, angry, or scared, our body is flooded with adrenaline, flooded with cortisol. But if we don't move through the cycle like animals do by shaking or fleeing, those chemicals stay trapped, leading to chronic fatigue, muscle tension, migraines, anxiety that comes out of nowhere. So these strange or weird meditations like shaking, dancing, or deep laughter, candle gazing, offer a way to manually complete the cycle because laughter is going to flood your body with oxygen. It's going to release tight muscle groups. Shaking is going to activate muscles in your body, your hip flexors, often called, some of those muscles that it's activating are called the muscles of the soul, which stores trauma. Sound baths are stimulating the vagus nerves, which turns off fight or flight and promises deep rest. So, completing the stress cycle tells your body you made it. You're safe now. And honestly, it's kind of playful. These meditations are a bit playful. Many people think they're bad at meditation because they can't sit still or stop thinking. But that's not failure, it's an unmet nervous system need. These meditations are accessible to most other people that can't do traditional because they're engaging the senses, sight, sound, movement. So you're not just stuck in your head. They're using humor and novelty to build psychological safety. Laughter and gibberish are lowering performance anxiety for sure. And they're reframing presence as play, not punishment. So when you're shaking, chanting, or humming, you aren't escaping stillness, you're finding it through movement. Neuroscience shows that novelty lights up the hippocampus and boosts learning and memory. So it makes the practice stick. And most importantly, these meditations are reminding us that healing doesn't have to be so heavy, right? It can be weird, it can be silly, it can be playful, it can even be fun. And on top of that, it's boosting neuroplasticity. And that's your brain's ability to rewire itself based on experience. So every time you try a new meditation technique, you're giving the brain the fresh information it needs to work with. And here's what's happening under the hood, so to speak. Novel physical actions like shaking or laughing uncontrollable engage parts of the brain, your motor cortex, your cerebellum, that aren't usually active during silent meditation. These actions are forming new neural connections, especially, and this is important, between emotional centers like your amygdala and regulatory areas like your prefrontal cortex. And over time, you know what's happening if you keep doing this? It's going to result in better emotional regulation that you have, less reactivity to stress, faster recovery from emotional spirals, and improved memory and cognitive flexibility. So, no more rigid thinking. In short, the weird stuff creates mental agility and emotional resilience. So, every time you choose to move, breathe, or laugh instead of ruminate, you're teaching your brain a new way to be safe. So, how all that said, let's talk about how to create your own weird meditation toolkit then. Because you can try rebuilding a personal rotation based on how you feel. And I can give you some examples. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed based on the science, the research, and how it works in the brain, I would suggest sound bath or walking. Feeling tense? Try shaking or laughter. But remember what I told you. If you've ever suffered from extreme trauma, you're definitely going to want to be supervised and you're going to want to follow your physician's advice. If you're feeling mentally cluttered, try candle gazing, overthinking, gibberish, or maybe dynamic meditations. Disconnected, singing or humming would work because you're stimulating that vagal nerve. You don't have to stick to one though. You can rotate, you can combine. It shouldn't be rigid. These meditations are not rigid, it's more relational. All right, let's do something a little wild together. Okay. And this is a weird meditation mashup. This is an example of how this can work. So, if you're listening somewhere private or you just don't care what people think, go ahead and join me. And if you're ready, let's start. Now stand up if you can and just start shaking your hands. Okay? Stand up and shake your hands. Now your arms, now your shoulders. Let your knees bend and shake them too. And I'd stand up and do this, but then this mic doesn't allow for that. So just do it. It might feel silly, but stay with me. I'll just shake like this. Okay? Oh, it already feels better. Stay with me, okay? Let your body bounce. Maybe even let out a sigh. It does feel good. I like that. Just bounce. Let your body bounce. Let out a sigh. Okay. You're not trying to do it right. You're just letting your body move. Let your body release. This is your nervous system completing the stress cycle like animals do when they escape danger. Keep going. We'll do this 10 more seconds, right? Don't do this if you're driving, right? By the way, don't do this. Often I listen to my podcast while I'm driving. Now, stop doing that and take a deep breath. And let's make some nonsense sounds together. Forget language, just babble like a baby, speak in total gibberish. It could be ma blah goo, shama ma ma blah, whatever. Just speak in gibberish. Whatever comes out, whatever's natural to you, let it be weird, let it be loud or soft or mumbly. Whatever. It's not about making sense. It's about short circuiting your overthinking brain. All right, ready? Let's go. La 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 ba la ba la ba boo blah blue 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 yeah woo. I don't know what's coming out. No language. Sorry. La 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 la. Now breathe in deeply and let it go. And you can keep this going, but we just wanted to introduce how this could work. Okay. Now, let's try laughing. Yes, even if it's a fake laugh. Let's just start with ha ha ha. And you can go bigger, you can go full cheesy sitcom laugh, you know, even if it feels forced. Something happens when you laugh on purpose. Your body starts believing you. So let's let it build. Let it build, okay? Deep breathe in. Just laugh. Ha ha ha, he, however you want to do it. Ha ha ha. And there you go. Because I'm laughing at myself because I was singing a laugh. So just let it out. Sigh, laugh. This is what it's going to look like for you to practice it. And obviously, you're going to be in privacy if that's what you prefer, or if you just don't care what people think. Now here's another one. Settling into stillness. Okay. Now you can sit or stand for this, but you're going to be doing it in stillness. And what you're going to do is you're going to notice your breath. So if you're sitting or standing, you're just going to notice your breath, right? You're breathing. And then you're going to notice your body. Is there a little tingling in your hands, maybe warmth in your chest, a weird smile on your face? It's just your body saying, thank you for giving me a chance to let go. That's what you're doing. And you're just going to rest there for a moment. Just rest there for a moment, noticing your breath, noticing your body. You've just interrupted your default mode. You've completed a stress cycle and you told your brain that it's safe again. And you did it. We went through these practices just to introduce them to you. So you just did a little bit of these meditations in a way that most people never even try. And your nervous system is better for it. Remember, presence doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be practiced. So I think we should say stay weird, stay grounded, and come back to this segment each time that you need to. Meditation doesn't have to be still, okay? It doesn't have to be silent, and it definitely doesn't have to be serious. If traditional mindfulness hasn't worked for you, these strange, playful, and physical techniques just might be the invitation your body has been waiting for. So, have you ever tried one of these weird meditation techniques before, or do you have your own unconventional way of getting present? Drop some feedback for me. I'd love to feature some of your stories in future episodes. And if you're curious about how to blend these practices with calming your nervous system, check out my video on mindfulness techniques that actually stick. But remember, the point of meditation isn't to be quiet, it's to be present. And sometimes present just looks a little weird, but weird can be wonderful at the same time. And don't forget to share this podcast follow this podcast on any platform, whatever platform you get your podcast on, so that other people can find this podcast that may need it. Until next episode, take care of your mind, body, and soul.